With the WagerTalk one-day power pass, you receive every play from every betting consultant for one full day at the ridiculously discounted price of just $149. What's better than spending the day watching and following a great slate of games? Watching, following, and winning those games. Get every WagerTalk expert and every game they release for that day.
Welcome into First Pitch, WagerTalk's premier MLB betting show. I'm your host, Drew Martin, joined by Mid-Major Matt and Tony Finn from Sports Memo and WagerTalk.com. We're going over 4 games on today's slate, 4 night games here, 2 on the East Coast, 2 on the West Coast for May 5th. Happy Cinco de Mayo. Hopefully you're enjoying it out there, and hopefully we can find you a couple winners for your betting card. First up here, Matt Josephs at Mid-Major Matt on Twitter, sportsmemo.com. Matt, welcome in. Happy Wednesday morning to you.
Well, I think it's good that you guys have me on and then you put the Phillies game on to torture me. I also have set a number in my head how many Cinco de Mayo jokes that Tony Finn can make today, and I'm hoping that I hit the over here.
Well, he did make his way back to Las Vegas from Tijuana. So, I don't know. He's probably got a couple in his pocket here, Matt. And we put on the Phillies just because of you, being your Phillies, Matt. Wanted to get a little inside source there for you. But without further ado, the aforementioned, the ageless one, the legendary Tony Finn. Welcome in, Tony.
You got jokes today, Drew. I like them. Thanks for having me. Let's rock and roll.
All right, let's get after it. Tony Finn's ready to rock. Tony, let's start off with you with the first game up here. We got the Milwaukee Brewers, Philadelphia Phillies. We're seeing the Phillies being the underdogs at home here with the Brewers minus 133. Frankie Peralta, I'll tell you, this guy's good, Tony. 26-year-old Dominican kid. Last time out, 6 innings, 7 Ks, only 1 walk and 1 hit versus the Dodgers, by the way. So last time out, he was good, Tony. Going up against Anderson here for the Phillies, 7.5 being the total. You interested in the Brewers and Phils tonight, Tony?
Well, if I was in this room and playing this game, I would definitely agree with you, and I would be on the Brewers. I am a Peralta fan, and as much as I like the Phillies and have been on them this year, I stray in a big way from Chase Anderson for a lot of reasons. He was effective against the Mets in his last start. I think 1 run, 5 hits, 2 walks, struck out 6 over 5 innings. But he's still when you have that kind of a line and only 56 of your 93 pitches were for strikes, then it is the same issues that Soft Toss he has all the time, and that is, in my opinion, is command. He owns about a 5.5, 5.4, 5.5 ERA, an 8, but right about a 9. 8 or 9, but the 4.2 balls to 9 innings, baseball balls to 9 innings through the first 5 starts, 21 plus innings. His xFIP is right there at a 5.2. So he's pitching to that ERA. I'll take the Milwaukee Brewers in this situation with, as you mentioned, the legendary Peralta.
The legendary Frankie Peralta for sure there, Tony. And Matt, coming to you last year with the Phillies, I mean, Anderson, questionable here, the 9th round pick out of Oklahoma, giving up, 10 walks in 21 innings. That's what really scares me about the Philadelphia side here. But interested in your take overall for this game, Matt, and also what you're looking forward here for the Phillies in the near future.
All right, so I'll just be blunt. Art Anderson's garbage. I mean, I don't think he's very good, and he's certainly fadeable in this situation. The problem is the Brewers lineup isn't very good right now without Yelich, and Kane seems to be somewhat of a shell of himself. A couple of things to consider here. Peralta has a 40.2% K rate. So if you're looking at the strikeout props, the over for Freddie Peralta with a free-swinging Phillies lineup certainly comes into play here. The other things to consider here are when you're looking at Milwaukee, Hader and Williams have not been used since the weekend. So what you may get here is Peralta going 6, Devin Williams going 2, and Hader going 1 if they get the lead. I assume that yesterday that those guys would have been used and there was no opportunity for them to get used here. So all they're asking for pretty much from Peralta is 6. And then you get 2 from your best reliever, and then you get 1 from your closer here. The other thing to consider here, one of the best bets I feel like in baseball the last 2 years is if the Phillies get a lead, taking the opponent's run line. Last night, Phillies go up 6-1. On a offshore book, I got Brewers plus 4.5 at plus money. Game goes down to 1. Phillies have played the most one-run games so far in baseball this year. I believe it was 13 as of last night. And it's just one of those situations. I like to refer to this stat. Last year, the Phillies had the second most leads in the National League. And of course, they didn't have the second most wins in the National League, so it's a team that has a bad bullpen. Coonrod went an inning and inning and two-thirds yesterday. He got 5 outs yesterday, so he's probably not available. Neris threw like 40 pitches 2 nights ago. He may not be available, and Alvarado's still got 1 more game left on his suspension. So the clear bullpen edge is to Milwaukee if you want to jump in later and take the Brewers somehow if the Phillies have a lead tonight.
Yeah, that's some good stats there, Matt. I mean, I was going to throw out there Hector Neris, 40 pitches on Monday. Is he available? Is he not? I didn't even realize, Milwaukee's side of it. They're 2 big arms out of the bullpen, haven't thrown in a couple days. So even if it's a tie game, Matt, you can expect the Brewers to maybe throw those guys out there tonight, even if they don't have the lead, right?
Yeah, I was kind of surprised they didn't do it last night when it was still a close game towards the end, but I guess they're trying to set it up for them to come in and basically with a lead or at least a tie. So if you think of the starting pitching matchup, it goes to Milwaukee and then the bullpen goes to Milwaukee. So if somehow Philly gets the lead, I look to jump in on Milwaukee live tonight, and I might look at the Freddie Peralta over strikeout prop.
All right, guys, second game up here, a good one. Marquee matchup with the Houston Astros and New York Yankees. We're seeing the Astros in Yankee Stadium. Luis Garcia, 2 Luis Garcias, by the way. So when you're doing your research here, it is the Luis Garcia on the Houston Astros, the righty here. Jordan Montgomery, the lefty, going for the Yankees. Yankees commanding a 135 price tag here, Matt. The market is not quiet that the Yankees bats have woken up here. So minus 135, Yankees at home, 9.5 the total in Yankee Stadium here, Matt. You interested in getting involved in the Stros and Yanks tonight?
The interesting stat that I found is the Astros have faced left-handed starters in more than half of their games this year. Because I was looking yesterday, I tried to jump in on the under on Domingo Germán's strikeouts, and I was doing some research on the starters that have faced the Astros, because the Astros against right-handers have by far the least amount of strikeouts. But it's because they faced so many lefties so far this year. They've got a solid batting average against them. And when you look at Montgomery, he's been very hot or cold, especially at the strikeouts. 6.0, 6.71 so far. That's Garcia. Montgomery is 1.57. 4.7. Carlos Correa's got a decent history against him. I expect a better effort from the Astros. It's almost like they were somewhat shell-shocked last night in that the atmosphere at Yankee Stadium was so full of vitriol there. You look at Garcia. Garcia's been pretty good this year, and he's got no history against the Yankees. So if you wanted to maybe look at a first 5 under or a first 5 Astros plus a half run line here, they could keep it close early after getting everything out of their system from yesterday.
Yeah, Matt, you bring up the atmosphere there in Yankee Stadium, and I guess everybody but maybe the Astros players, thought it was a fun live atmosphere there in Yankee Stadium, Tony. Luis Garcia going for Houston here. What is he, a fifth starter, maybe a guy in the bullpen? He's both started and come out of the pen here. 20 strikeouts, 7 walks, and 21 innings. He actually has been pretty solid, but going up against Montgomery and the Yankees' hot bats, this is kind of a tricky handicap here, Tony. What are you thinking?
Yeah, Garcia's surface numbers look real good. And in truth, even if you watched him pitch and command the mound and seem confident, posture's good, he would appear to be a guy who's capable. And he is. He's a Major League Baseball pitcher. However, there's regression due. He's benefited from a 224 balls hit in play, a 90% strand rate, and a 34.6% ground ball rate. That's not the recipe for success against the Yankees lineup, as long as they're doing what they've been doing recently, and that seems to be seeing the bat to the ball and basically hitting much better than they did in April. Jordan Montgomery, if you look under the hood, listen, his surface number, he's better than his surface numbers. If you look under the hood, his strikeout rates jumped to about 27%. His swinging strike rates 13%. His 3.45 Sierra is almost a run and a half better than his ERA. This is a game where, like last night, I really liked Greinke in that situation. It was a pretty good game, 3-3 till late, until they got the Houston pin. Tonight, I think it's all Yankees.
And Tony, just to come back at you with you, because I'm with you. I do think the Yankees are the side here, plus the fact that I give them a bullpen advantage. Would you lay the minus 135 here? Is it too pricey for you personally?
No, I think that's a fair price. Listen, I really believe if you look at Houston too, they're one of the better teams. They've been one of the better teams this year, despite their basically pedestrian overall mark. They have been better than their record. However, the Yankees too have been better than their record. I think they've pitched fairly well. They really have. They just haven't hit the ball. So 135 seems to be a fair mark.
All right, good stuff, Tony Finn. Shout out to the chat box. Thanks for watching live, guys. Nathan Cantor in the house, Brandon Porter, Abby, Matt, all of you guys, welcome in. Thanks for joining us live. And if you're watching on replay, that works too, guys. Please smash the like button and feel free to leave a comment below. We got 2 games left. Best bets and an Asian baseball play for you. Next game up as we head out west, 9:40 Eastern, 6:40 Pacific start here. The Tampa Bay Rays and the LA Angels. We got Yarborough versus Ohtani. Looks like the Angels minus 120 favorites now. So minus 120 to minus 125, 8.5 being the total here. Tony, coming to you first. You interested in getting involved with the Rays and Angels tonight?
I'm not involved with them. Although I looked at this game pretty hard. I'm really interested in watching this game tonight. I want to watch both pitchers, Ohtani, and I want to watch pitchers too. I mean, this is a kid who at one point last year, at least in 2020, I think it was, they believed when he got injured that he may need Tommy John. And I don't know exactly what the surgery, but had he had that Tommy John in August of 2020, he would yet be pitching. So I know he missed the rest of last year. He returned this spring, and for the most part, his first 7 appearances have been really good. 3 wins. I think his second career save. He's pitched about in every inning, about every situation, and that's what, with the injuries the Rays have to their pitching, to their pen, and as many openers as they're going to still pitch to, he's about as versatile as they come. And I like the Rays. Listen, the Rays aren't hitting the ball very well, and when they do hit it, they just seem to bunch them together. So it's tough to support him here against the Angels' healthy lineup in LA. But I'm certainly interested in watching this game. And if I was in it, I probably still would be on the dog Tampa Bay Rays.
Okay, like in the Rays here. And Matt, what are you thinking tonight, Rays and Angels?
This whole game stinks to the heavens. Like it almost looks like one of those prices now when they had a certain pitching matchup and the pitcher changes and they haven't had a chance to change the pitcher yet. Because if you look at what Ohtani's done this year, I mean, to go up against a Rays team that has a 35.2% K rate against left-handed pitchers, the Rays have struck out the most against lefty pitchers all season. Just a couple, Quintana had 9. I mean, Jose Quintana's a mediocre veteran. He had 9 strikeouts. Cole Irvin had 8. Danny Duffy had 8. You look at Jordan Montgomery had 7. We talked about him. The reliever Hearn had 7 strikeouts against the Rays. So to me, this whole thing kind of stinks. I do DFS, and if you look both on FanDuel and DraftKings, Ohtani's listed as an outfielder and a pitcher. So you can put him in as an outfielder potentially and get 2 sets of stats here. It's almost like everybody's surprised that Ohtani's starting this game. The Angels have struggled as of late. The Rays are starting to hit the ball now, which is a bit of a worry here. But unless, there's some sort of pitch count that Ohtani's on tonight, I feel like the play is the Angels in the first 5, take their crappy bullpen out of it. I think that the Angels are due to bust out a little bit bats-wise, and they've got the better bats in this matchup. But everything kind of just stinks to me. So I'll hesitantly take the Angels in the first 5, but wonder why this line is as short as it is.
Fair enough, Matt. And guys, this is my best bet, so we'll hit this again at the end of the show. We got the conclusion game here, the nightcap, 9:40 Eastern, 6:40 Pacific game here. Last game we'll hit on the card. Toronto Blue Jays and the Oakland Athletics. Minus 120 is what we're seeing the A's now. So we've seen a little Toronto money here, Matt. Robbie Ray, Chris Bassett going at it. Ray the lefty, Bassett the righty. Again, A's about minus 120. 8 being the total in the Oakland Coliseum here tonight, Matt. You interested in getting involved with the Jays and A's tonight?
I mean, I feel like we're finally seeing once again the Robbie Ray we thought we were going to see. He talks about a mechanical adjustment he's made, and we know he has filthy stuff and he has a great fastball, but the control issues were getting in the way, and he started out the season with the control issues and hasn't walked anybody since an early start. And you look, the strikeouts are there. He's had 5 his last start. He had 9, and then he had 3 and 3. But, I mean, this is an Oakland team that at times has struggled against lefties. You look at their historical numbers against Ray. Not many of them have done well. And then you look at Bassett. I'm not the biggest Bassett guy. I think he's okay. the strikeouts have certainly started to come on. 9, 8, and 8 his last 3 starts. If you're looking at potentially a guy who might make the lineup, if George Springer's healthy enough, he's 5 for 17 with 2 homers in his career, obviously as an Astro against his time facing off against Bassett. So he's got good numbers here. I don't have anything in this game. I would love to take Robbie Ray, but I'm also deathly afraid of the Robbie Ray that has no control and puts runners on base returning, especially on the road. So I would lean to the Jays, but it's a pass on the game.
Tony, this is a fascinating handicap, mainly because you look at Robbie Ray, like Matt just talked about. I mean, 14 strikeouts and no walks in his last 13 innings. He's kind of found it. But before that, he was real shaky, and that's being nice, Tony. And then you look on the other side, Chris Bassett, it's like he's as solid as they come in all 3 of his last 3 starts here, Tony. 6 innings, 2 earned run. It's like solid. You know what you're going to get from Bassett. So it's kind of almost like a toss-up with Robbie Ray, but he can be lights out. And then Chris Bassett, 6 innings, 2 earned. Heck, I'd try to bet on that tonight, Tony. What are you thinking tonight in the nightcap?
We've seen the good and the bad Robbie Ray already this season. And recently, he's been pretty good. Again, like both of you have outlined here, it's like trusting the guy to say, listen, go ahead and cross the street. There's no traffic coming. And you're blind. You just got to trust. It's tough to trust Robbie Ray. We've seen him. We've seen Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. We've seen the bad of Ray. And here's the deal with Bassett. I never understood why there was this infatuation with Bassett. Sure, he had a good year, but he doesn't miss enough bats. He has a mediocre ground ball rate, his EV and an EV allowed. His swinging strike rate has never reached 10% in any season that he's pitched in the big leagues. His lowest xFIP of his career was last year in the Sprint, and it was a 4.49. He's not a guy. Listen, he's a guy that I could only trust in the Coliseum, which they are, but I rarely do. Because of these peripherals, he just seems to perform. He got a lot of big hits, a lot of walk-offs last year that prevented him from having losses, and that's what Oakland did all last year. It seemed like they just had the big hit for a team that hit 230, I think, right in that neighborhood, batting average of the team. So that said, this is a game, as you said, it's a tough handicap for me. I would in this situation, I probably would be on Ray because he has the higher ceiling.
Yeah, one thing to note here, guys, in the later innings, back-to-back days, both co-closers for the A's did pitch. So look out for their bullpen numbers maybe falling off in the later innings. That's talking about the A's bullpen. Guys, we got best bets coming up. But first up, going to throw it over to Tokyo Brandon. Used to be a scout here in the Japanese Baseball League. And for you degenerates out there, I say that in a good way. If you want action late at night, we got some KBO and also some Japanese baseball that you need to check out. WagerTalk.com. Tokyo Brandon going to give out a free play right now. Tokyo Brandon, take it away.
Tokyo Brandon here with another quick pick for Asian baseball. We're going to the KBO one more time. We've got Lee Yu Lee taking the mound for Kia and Anderson Franco taking the mound for Lotte. 2 really good starting pitchers and 2 somewhat mediocre lineups. I see this as being an under, but both bullpens are a little bit shaky right now. So in this game, the lines are not out yet, but I'm going with the first 5 innings under. I think when the lines come out, this will be about 4.5. We're going to go with the under in the Kia Lotte first 5 innings game. That's the quick pick for today. Thanks a lot, guys. I'll be back with more.
Pitchers duel in the Korean baseball quick pick game for tonight. First up here, 4 best bets. Mid-Major Matt. Follow him on Twitter at Mid-Major Matt. His work at sportsmemo.com. He is Matt Joseph's experts page. Matt, where are you going for best bets for the show?
So strikeout props have been going well for me as of late, 20 and 13 in my last 33 or so. If I stop playing the unders, it would be even better, but I'm a fan of some of these unders. But to me, there's one gravy train when it comes to strikeout props, and it's fading the Detroit Tigers. So even though I don't love the pitcher, and even though the number's a little higher than I want, you're getting a good plus price. I'm taking Martin Perez over 5.5 strikeouts at plus 125, 20 or so. Shop around, depending upon your book, you can find a good number here. Here's some numbers for you. The Tigers are hitting 170 against left-handed pitchers this season. They have 84 strikeouts in 206 at-bats. That's a 40.7% K rate in games against left-handed batters. Need more stats? The Tigers are number 1 in baseball in strikeouts on the road with a 34.7% K rate, 175 strikeouts in 16 road games. Martin Perez coming off a 7-strikeout effort in Texas against the Rangers. They're number 2 in strikeouts against left-handers. And you look at the history, Rodon, Duffy, Minor, Anderson, or Irvin, Manea have all gone over this number. So basically, until the books really make this number too high for me, I'm going to take the over against the Tigers. And so tonight, it's Martin Perez over 5.5 strikeouts.
And Mr. Tony Finn, straight up from Tijuana here. I know you've spent some days there in Mexico, Tony. Interested in your best bets, and also anything you got for Cinco de Mayo you wanted to throw out here, buddy?
As far as concoctions, like frozen concoctions, you want me to throw those kind of recipes out?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
What tequilas you recommending? Cerveza of choice? What are you thinking tonight?
Well, I have a candy bar in the refrigerator that they sell these candy bars in Oregon, and they're mushroom candy bars. Their doses are from people who have anxiety, et cetera, et cetera. I've yet to try that, but I'm thinking maybe blending that baby up into a margarita for Cinco de Mayo. What do you think?
It sounds a little wild.
It's legal in Oregon. It's legal in Oregon. Let's go to the best bet here. Let's go. Listen. My best bet is essentially the same thing that my esteemed colleague, panel member, is on. I like Perez in this situation against a Detroit lineup that can't hit left-handers. One of Detroit's top prospects goes to the mound. Boston, although they're hitting the ball, they're probably hitting. I think they're hitting the ball above their pay grade right now, doing a great job scoring runs. They're not going to hit 4 home runs, I think, tonight. Not with DJ Rayburn as a home plate umpire. He likes calling strikes. He's pretty consistent. He's pretty neutral. I consider him a neutral guy simply because of his zone, but he favors home teams. And I think that Perez is going to get the black, which also helps that terrific prop on the strikeouts too. But more than anything, you got 50 degrees at first pitch in Boston tonight. The possibility of a light rain, right, about 50% light rain throughout the game, which always, for a veteran like Rayburn, enlarges the K zone. And you got about a 5 to 10 mile an hour wind blowing in from the Green Monster. This is, I was surprised a little. It looked like some of the money was going to go to the high side and make it a heavy 9, but I like under 9 in this game. I really do. I think it'll be a quick game. And if we can get the whole thing in, both starters can go 6 innings and perform pretty well.
All right, liking the under there, Tony. The under hits, man. Your mushroom margarita, you're gonna have a good night for Cinco de Mayo, there, Tony. So,
well, I'll have a good night whether it hits or not, but I'll be fair to hit.
Guys, I'll finish it off here with best bets. Tampa Bay Rays, LA Angels. Ohtani on the hill for the Angels. Actually, last time out, he found it a little bit. Only 2 walks. That's way down from where he normally is in terms of his walk rate. And the Rays don't walk all that much. Rays, it looks like Kittredge being the starter here. It's really an opener. I could see a lot of Yarbrough coming in for the Rays, and he really hasn't been good. 5 earned runs last time out, 9 hits. And I think a healthier Angels lineup gets to him. So just having to pay a -120 price tag on the home Angels here, I think it's the side. And Ohtani's 4th start, I see him catching it here after his injury. And plus the fact it's 10 miles an hour winds out to center field. And Ohtani, look, he's a high strikeout, high walk rate guy. So there's not going to be a ton of hits. At least that's what past performance tells us. So I think wind blowing out, it really doesn't affect him much, whereas it's going to affect the Rays bullpen a lot more. So LA Angels -120 is the play. Guys, in recap here for the best bets, I'm on the Angels -120. We got Matt Joseph there with the K prop. Tony Finn, Boston, Detroit under 5. And then you see it there from Tokyo Brandon in the late night KBO. So guys, best of luck if you're tailing out there. Enjoy your Cinco de Mayo. For Tony and Matt, I am Drew. We'll be back tomorrow, same time, same place, right here on the Wager Talk YouTube channel. Please smash the like button. Feel free to leave a comment below. Huge shout out to the chat box, Paco, Paul, Abel, Avery, all you guys for joining us. Happy Cinco de Mayo to you. Best of luck with your bets. We'll be back tomorrow, guys. Thanks for tuning in.